Because these people, they didn't just dress nicely as if they were coming from church. They dressed nicely with badges. It was obvious that they were official members.
Oh, turns out.
And this is when she revealed to me. Story mother freaking time. So some time ago, I started a story on here where I basically explained
I was a CNA, a certified nursing assistant. And during this particular shift, I was working with this nurse that I loved working with because I was also in nursing school. And she was so intelligent and she taught me quite a bit about being a nurse or just knowing things, you know. And so during that shift, we had this one patient who just was not getting better. And based on his history, you know, during the time that he was there, things were just progressing, or not progressing, but declining rapidly for him. And so the doctor basically told her, you know, we're going to look at a palliative approach, you know, hospice, just, it's not looking good.
And the patient seemed to have been getting worse, but it was kind of like a roller coaster thing. And so the wife would come, she would take care of him, she would leave. She's trying to juggle her personal life and the fact that, you know, her husband is actively passing away in front of her. And so we did our best to provide as much support as we could have. Now, sometimes I'll come back to work and I'll get the same group of patients as a CNA as I had before. Other times I'll be sent to another unit. This particular patient, I had him back to back as I was doing my 3 shifts in a row so that I could accommodate my school schedule. And so those 3 days were interesting, okay? So basically what had happened was we were under the impression that the patient was dying and there was very little that we could really do for him. I'm not gonna get too deep into the history and how he got there, and I'm also gonna go ahead and slide in that there will be some degree of embellishment because, you know, you can't just dive right into stories like this without revealing information that you're not supposed to reveal, okay? So there's that. That being said, come to find out, every time the wife would visit, she was actually dosing him with certain ingredients that would contribute to his demise, his eventual demise, his pending demise. That sounds pretty bad. And so the nurse had pulled me aside at one point and she was like,
Do you feel like every time his labs start to look a little bit better?
Because they talk about it. There would be rounds. A bunch of specialists would come to the bedside, including the palliative team, which is a team of people that talk about how to make someone's life as comfortable as they can at this point, considering we can no longer implement interventions to save their lives. She was just talking and she was like,
I kind of feel like things aren't adding up. Like every time we think that things are beginning to get a little better, it immediately tanks.
And she expressed that to the doctor. She expressed that to whomever it was she needed to express it to. I didn't know because at the time, again, like I said, I was a CNA. So I really didn't need to be an active member of her care unless the nurse herself said, I need you to do XYZ for her every couple of hours or whatever that physical hands-on care required. So later on, these people in suits, later on, and this is probably during my second shift, my second 12-hour shift, these gentlemen in suits kind of appear at the bedside, and I'm doing my rounds, passing out ice waters or, you know, checking on patients, changing patients, moving patients, turning patients, whatever. And I see them. And so I go get the nurse and I was like, yo, what's going on? Is there something that I need to know? Do I not go into that room moving forward? Because these people, they didn't just dress nicely as if they were coming from church. They dressed nicely with badges. It was obvious that they were official members.
Oh, turns out.
And this is when she revealed to me,
his wife is a potential suspect in, you know, the reason why his condition is worsening.
As she was telling me that, the wife begins to walk down the hallway. And so we scatter. I'm not paying that any attention. I'm continuing to mind my business because, again, unless I can find me a darn good reason why I would just need to stand in that room and just be there, I needed to keep doing my job. And so as I'm dropping off ice water to another patient down the hall, I hear this loud commotion, and she's like,
I can't believe this. I'm going through so much, yada, yada, yada. Woe is me. Boo hoo, cry, cry, tear, tear.
and then I stick my head out in time to see her storming down the hallway. And so as she's storming down the hallway, the gentlemen begin to storm after her.
Ma'am, ma'am, ma'am.
And so fast forward, they end up having to take her in, like in handcuffs. Like, her response, yes, was very emotional, but it was also very skeptical. Like, why are you in such a rush to leave? You don't need to be this defensive. Now, I'm repeating what I heard as far as how the investigation seemed to have began. Me, personally speaking, if I was accused of killing my husband, I don't know how I would act. I do not. As she was being escorted off the floor, she started yelling explicits, and the explicits inevitably ended up leading to a confession. So at one point, she was like, something along the lines of,
He took so much from me. It's high time now I took it back.
and she is just screaming. Just a bunch of, it went from, this is so ridiculous, how dare you, how could you, that's the love of my life, to, I'm taking what I deserve. It was a very interesting situation. I did not end up finding out what it was that she was shooting up in his IV, but turns out she was a nurse. So she had resources. She knew what she was doing, and she knew how to access whatever it was that she needed to access to do what she needed to do. The palliative team still stuck around, mainly because they needed to assess whether the damage had already been done. When I came back the next day during my third and final 12-hour shift, he was actually moved to another unit. And my understanding, it was that it had to be because, you know, they were obviously going to try to save him, and it would require additional resources, a higher acuity of care. But that was, all in all, a very interesting thing to witness, and I know that it was long overdue for me to offer you guys the remainder of this story. Sheesh. Anyways, I have more extended stories coming. Some of them are on other platforms such as my. And I do want you guys to slide on over there. Just click the link in my bio and explore everything else that I have going on. I also have a bunch of links to the products that I've used on my face. My hair is all pinned up like this because after this I'm going to a photo shoot to promote a bunch of stuff for y'all. And of course, check out my music. I recently released an album. I have a couple of singles coming up. I'm just out here just dabbling in just about all of the creative platforms, and I love it. And I love you guys, and I thank you so much for your support. Share, share, share. Like, subscribe. Check out my creative director / editor / animator, Blake Quake Beats. His link is also in the bio. Thanks, guys. I need you here right by my side. From the sunrise to the sunset, I would go to war, wouldn't break a sweat. You're my baby, my only one, my one and only, my everything. You give me all the life that I need. I'll give you everything you want and need. From the moonrise to the moonset, you invade my dreams, my thighs are wet. You're my lover and my best friend. You're the only one, we ride to the end. You know I'm down to ride, down to ride. I just want you by my side, my side, my side. I just wanna hold you close.
Tell me, baby, that you love me. I love you. Tell me, baby, that you need me. I need you. Tell me, baby, that you want me. I want you. Tell me, baby, that you hold me. I hold you. From the sunrise to the sunset, I will go to war, wouldn't break a sweat. You're my baby, my one and only one, my everything. You know I'm down. I've been running from my vulnerability, and I've been hiding from the truth. You know I'm down to ride. I thought I was running